David?
All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Hey, everyone, thanks for coming. The thing, you do have water, but
Well, I do have I had a cold last week. I don't have a cold now, but when I start coughing, it'll last me for months.
it drives me crazy. I usually turn my vaporizer on, little Cas in it at nighttime. Ladies, I saw a meme today that says, "What is my child supposed to bring home from school?" It says homework and projects. And it said, "What does my child really bring home from school?" And then it basically said the germs and
Yeah, no kidding.
like the plague, actually, I think it's what
Everyone
it
has
is.
that type of-
Sure will. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I've talked to several people this week. There are a lot of people sick. Not face to face, though, I feel really good. Sorry. No, I feel good. Oh, that's right. She's got a cold too. Poor Leanne.
I was saying like, whatever cold.
Whatever that thing is. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I'm doing
One of the other teachers has it.
zinc, vitamin C, all that.
On wage on both 140. Sorry.
Was that door shut?
Is someone trying to come in? It wasn't shut tight when, well, the outside door was fine when I came.
Well, the outside door is like,
I did.
So awkward.
So sorry. I didn't think I closed it. I thought I was carefully leaving it cracked. All right, so I would like to approve the minutes from February 1st, Selectmen Meeting. Have we all had a chance to read through them? You want to take a moment? We're happy to do that. Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve these minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I need to do all in favor? All in favor?
Yes, you need
Yeah,
to do
I
it.
want to do it. Yeah, got it.
Kathleen, is that your David who's zooming in?
What's that?
There's a guy named David zooming in. Is that your David?
No, he's, he went to Roxbury to the planning board meeting up there.
Oh, yeah.
Talked to them today, went all the way up there to find out they didn't have quorum, so he's.
Well, that is the problem.
Yeah, he's,
So
that's
awkward.
happened way too many times. I mean, it's an hour ride for him to go up there.
It is, and the roads are getting bumpier and bumpier. Here you go, my dear. Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve warrant 16 and the payroll warrants for January 31st and February 7th and February 14th. Just noting that Monday's a holiday, so we'll get this stuff done early, which is great.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure it is.
like to give me a second.
Oh, okay, second.
Great, all in favor? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Leanne. All right, do we have an RSU 10 report? I saw that the the school board was meeting. All right, road report.
There's a pile of road stuff
Yeah,
there that's.
sure is. Yeah,
Trade-off. Where's the bridge going?
I guess, I didn't know there was one either. I guess it's by Bob Russell's if you keep going.
I
I'm not
guess
sure.
so, it must be.
well,
the
there
one-
is a bridge
must-
down there,
I
an
guess
old
there-
bridge.
I guess there is, it's more of a culvert almost, isn't it? I don't
Yes,
know.
I
I think
I was
it's
gonna go
just-
check it out.
Yeah, good. I had somebody call me up last night and say that his wife was driving on Stetson Road just past Town Farm and a tree came down right in front of her car, freaked her right out. And so I called Bim to let him know, and he said they drove the entire length of the road, evidently somebody else had come along with a chainsaw and moved it out of the road. False alarm.
Just love those folks.
Yeah, you know, we live in an area where people still ride around with chainsaws.
Yeah. Washed up, Hamilton Bridge, old 140. I think it's right there. If you go past the first part of 140, old 140, and you go up and you take it just before get into Sumner, I think that bridge is right there on old 140
On the loop.
on the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like we have some concerns that came in and these have all been given to the road commissioner.
Yep, I think he's dealt with all except for the Sampson one.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Hmm.
Finally, that Julia had requested some information, but I emailed the lawyer first
Yeah,
to see what I should give her. If she wants insurance policies and stuff like that. But he hasn't responded, so I don't know if he's on vacation, but
right, or sick. Been a lot of folks out sick.
When did you contact him?
it was a,
Couple days ago?
you know, it was last week, some last week.
Hmm.
You know, she has a lawyer, we have a lawyer, maybe the lawyer
The
should.
lawyer should be talking.
Yeah.
Versus-
I dare say, you know, I mean, it's kind of a safe bet that she's agitated enough that I don't think anyone on the select board ought to be sitting down with her individually and trying to work things out with her. Because she's obviously very agitated. You did read her letter.
What's that?
You read her letter.
I did. I read all the,
And that was
Oh,
forwarded to
good.
the lawyer also.
Right, good, good. Good, good. That was one of my thoughts as well, you know, seems like Dan ought to take a look at this.
well, and, you know, I agree that the two lawyers should be talking to each other, as long as they're not just building up their rates, but
Well, you know, I mean, the meter's ticking the whole while.
Absolutely. So to add a third person, fourth person in there. But he certainly could be. If it were last week, he could have been on vacation. But his email didn't bounce to say, hey, I'm out of the office or anything.
Sometimes he's a little slow.
Okay.
You know, what can I say?
Were you,
Depends on what the issue is.
were you interested in the trailer? The speed trailer
What
anywhere?
did they say about it? Do you think?
The speed trailer?
Yeah,
I don't think I shared it with him.
well, you know, I mean, it seems to me that.
I could call him. He told me to call him.
Call him,
He's not feeling good. I was talking to him when I came in. Said his stomach's rolling and he is not feeling good.
uh.
I said, please
yeah,
don't
no
come.
kidding, huh?
None of us want to be sick
That's right.
or more sick or, you know.
Yeah.
But he said to call him if we had any questions.
Or I can just talk to him and
Yeah,
Saturday, and if he does, I'll send him the form.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a cool idea if
I
we have a
mean,
road that's of concern.
well, you know, because we have one flashing sign up there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how helpful it is, but.
They still speed, and you know, the accidents down here, so.
There's a
I
lot of
tell you,
accidents down here.
Kathy said she. It's one of those little speed little trailers
Yeah.
with the speed limit sign,
Yeah.
not speed limit, you know, flashes how fast you're going.
Yeah.
Like the one up here. Like the one up there, only this is, the
Yeah.
DOT owns a bunch of these little trailers.
And they're
those
available
trailers,
to
You
us.
can put it where you put it where you want it.
I would
I
be-
don't see what's the harm. I mean, we got the flashing sign, it slows me down. You know, well, I don't know that it slows everybody down. I imagine.
Slows me down.
Quite a few.
Whenever I see those, they're on the picture.
Yeah. But if
Every
you
time
put
I get
it,
to the speed
yeah.
limit, it tells you what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's like, when saying too fast, I slow down until it starts to calm down. It's like, okay. good
Yeah.
enough.
So, but the accidents have been people going right through, like the one that hit the house.
Then, yeah,
Um,
we,
So maybe
Somebody-
we could
somebody's
access this
house
road
was-
trailer on 219.
Somebody's house was actually damaged badly enough when it was condemned.
Went straight through. the
Right, so
stop
was
sign.
the fellow that lives right straight across from,
Bims.
like, you know, where people come down from,
219.
219 from Turner.
Where it hits
right
140.
there, people don't stop, and we've been asking for like flashing red lights or something like that with a slow light. We've been asking the DOT for years.
Is it by Bill's?
Yeah, by bills.
Straight
And
by
so
Bims.
Been
somebody,
next year.
and no telling what was going on with the person who did this, but they flew right straight through and they landed in Herb Stevens' bathroom. And the house.
Now the house condemned.
The house has been condemned.
Well, last year they liked some.
Yeah, right, they managed to halfway around the corner and hit Ike's house. The people who are across there, I mean, they ought to be living behind Jersey barriers because vehicles come flying into their homes on a regular
Maybe we
basis.
put one of those with a sign missing.
Well, so DOT
I don't
Community
have the
Service,
stop sign, by the way.
I know.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, she notified us. I called, yeah, looks really good. So this is, this is Tammy Sobiecki from the Community Services Division that we can have a chance to use this. And I think Lee's idea is right, where they're running straight through. Maybe if we put it farther up on 219, even to get them used to seeing a flashing light, any short term.
Well,
And
the other thing is Kathy said she was gonna be talking with our state representative and good luck with that. But in any case, about doing something about that, because we have mentioned it a number of times. We might want to consider making a resolution, now that we will, write again to the DOT and say, really, we've had enough, we need flashing light. I mean, we've asked a number of times, we've been polite, maybe we have to start being, maybe we have to start jumping up and down and making a stand.
sometimes
I swear it's been more than 2 times.
And it works,
Uh,
it works, you better just keep.
sometimes the squeaky wheel.
Keep on it.
So I guess I'd like to suggest that we continue to be a squeaky wheel and we send another message to the DOT to get a
Put a
flashing
flashing
light
light there.
Put a flashing light at that intersection. The other thing is we should be slow on 140 and stop at the end of 219. But the other thing is, I'm hoping if they play their cards right, that Herb Stevens would be able to get a new house put in, a new trailer or something like that, because seems like the person's insurance ought to be able to.
Providing he had it, but I don't know the story.
Couple weeks ago?
Leanne has something she'd like to add.
I just wanted to say that Pete Coughlin from Maine Road Center was in Monday, and he gave me the name of the person to deal with speed limits and signs and stuff. And Mrs. Stevens has already been up to Wilton to talk to this person, so
Good,
a letter may help you.
Oh, good.
good, yeah, 'cause he had to move out, she can't, it's not only without a bathroom.
Can someone from your team call them, or do we need to call them? About this cool little jigga.
It's just a form, that's just a
And
form
then
to
you
fill
just
out.
tell Leanne
Great.
we're interested in.
I think we are interested as soon as we
I
could
think
get
it
it.
was,
there.
I mean, I tend to think we should say, Jim, what do you think? But if we get it, then we'll just decide where to put it,
Yep,
right?
yep. So
It is
that,
on trailer. I don't know if they place it where the road commissioner tells them and then it stays in that same place the whole time. I know there's been one right in Buckfield Center for.
We used to have
Yeah.
to go pick it up.
you must be able to haul it behind.
I think it's supposed to
Yeah,
stay in one place. If I remember how these things work. I think
Right,
it's
no,
done
I
like
mean,
this in the
but
past.
if we have to go pick it up, I bet it hauls behind a vehicle.
Oh, imagine.
Pick it up from whichever town has it and bring it here.
Yeah.
And the next one will pick it up here.
As a part of the road commissioner's report, I talked to Bim several times today. We have another, our sand is doing very, very well, because we haven't had a nasty winter so far. And we still have another 2,500 yards of sand at $12 a yard to before now in June 1st, which is a great price. So he has suggested that we make sure we fulfill our contract this year at that lower price and get it up, which will, by the way, fill the whole building by the time winter's done, that additional 2,500. So I just wanted to include that as part of the road commissioner's report. All right. Constable report? Nothing. I bet he's gonna tell me it's quiet. Nobody's on the beach. Nobody's,
He called me and said that he's not feeling well
uh-oh.
again. Another person not feeling well, and then he wouldn't be at the meeting, but he says he doesn't get much to report.
Okay,
Quiet.
all righty.
Telling her.
The CEO report, which we have.
It's not really a report, but it's concerning the planning board.
Yep. Basically, the code enforcement officer report is talking about a piece of property that was purchased 18 years ago, but it looks like it was supposed to be a 40-acre parcel of property that on Stetson Road that was gonna be developed. He's now trying to resell that undeveloped lot. Potential buyer performed a title search, and the title search concluded that the parcel is an illegal subdivision and couldn't write title insurance. Basically, it's the
That
planning,
has to do with the fact that it's on a brook.
it's on wet, it's borders wetland, a brook. So,
And it
water
wasn't-
frontage,
was never intended to be a subdivision, it's 40-acre lot, which is to say, it was a 40-acre, it was a large, what they call the large lot subdivision.
Yep.
And a large lot subdivision, each parcel is 40 acres or better.
do you remember this at all, 18 years ago? Did they ever come to you?
I don't remember them ever coming to before the select board, maybe 2 years ago is a while back. But they would come before the select board, but, they didn't have to because, at least in theory, all the lots were supposed to have been 40 acres, and if the lots are all 40 acres, then it would, at the time anyways, I don't know what the law is right now, but it would qualify as a large lot subdivision. That's how Lloyd Poland, that's how I bought
Right.
mine, back 40.
But even when there's water involved, because water frontage, I need, my family's owned our property
Yeah,
since
it's
the
not
fifties,
quite
and
the
there's
same
some
kind
pretty,
of water,
well, it's a rip, it's a stream.
nonetheless, it's not quite the same, but, yeah. Yeah, what can I say? In any case, initially, I think it was supposedly part of a large lot subdivision, and large lot subdivisions don't need to go before a planning board. Or really anything, that's why I would say Lloyd's land. When he buys a large parcel, he sells it all off in 40 acre plus lots, so that he's never had to go before anybody's planning board.
So basically, the CEO is suggesting, because the planning board can't set this violation aside, it's an 18-year violation, that the person comes in to the planning board, comes to the select board, and that we should have our legal advisor guide us on what we should decide about the long time violation. So that's his report.
So I recommend, should Mr. Webster, he didn't say that Mr. Webster should, it says should Mr. Webster approach the select board. You set aside the violation, however your legal advisor guides you to do so.
Yep,
Which I guess we're allowed to, I mean, that's, of course, therein is, of course, the question, whether we're even allowed to set it aside, I don't know.
right.
And that is fortunately the sort of thing that we ask MMA about.
Right, yep, but he said, if they come to us, they might, Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to ask MMA if they're even allowed to come before the select board, or if they do come before, of course, they're allowed to come before us, but whether, if that should happen, whether we're allowed to set aside a violation if there's a statute of limitations or what.
The planning board should be reaching out to MMA legal, so that it was brought to them at their meeting.
Well, sure enough, but if Mr. Webster should happen to approach the select board, then it's in our court, right?
yeah.
Let me see.
Hey, Lenny, go ahead.
Yes. I actually was designated to reach out to MMA. Because the planning board was considering. Am I unmuted? Yeah.
No, we hear you.
The planning board was considering writing a no action letter, meaning we're gonna do anything. But MMA said we can't do that. You all got the letter from Scott, correct?
Yes,
Yep,
that's what we're looking
Okay.
at.
Okay. I can't hear everything you're saying, but I'm trying. Hold on, and I will tell you exactly what they said. I did send it to everybody on the planning board. They advised against it.
Legal
Is
conversation.
Yeah.
Shouldn't- If it's gonna be a lawsuit.
What did you say?
We're just saying some legal conversations might not want to be out in public in case there's a lawsuit,
Okay.
right?
Well, I don't know all of what's contained in what she's gonna say, but.
right,
either.
right.
All
Super
right,
happy
I'll
that
send
I reached out to MMA
I'll-
though. Lenny, we can share that,
Well, MMA just said they would advise against it and that there was a process, and Scott pretty well outlined that in the letter. All I wanted you to know was we did in fact contact MMA Legal.
Right,
awesome.
And
that's-
their
that's-
suggestion was to turn it back to the CEO who wrote you a letter.
Awesome. Thank you, Lenny. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
All right, ACO report, which we got last meeting, so I don't expect to get one this meeting. Planning board report, we just heard from Lenny. Is there anything else we need?
You have nothing else?
No? All righty. Ordinance committee, we got a nice little synopsis from Bonnie, who, by the way, has been sick also. Poor Bonnie, everybody. I'm gonna say a little prayer that everyone stays healthy, okay? All right.
It's bad.
So ordinance committee minutes were approved at the last meeting, and they had a quorum at the last meeting.
This is November 15th.
Right.
Is that the one you're reading? Okay.
Yep. So the minutes from the November 15th meeting, because they hadn't had quorum for the last couple meetings, were approved at the last meeting, and they did have a quorum at the last meeting, so they did make some great movements forward, and we'll look forward to hearing Bonnie's report when she feels better. Okay. Fire warden report. There are a lot of fires, a lot of ambulances, a lot of everything everywhere. Not here. Which is-
I know Andover just had a bed and breakfast for
oh my God.
and somebody drove into the Mills Market.
Yep.
Crazy.
Can you imagine driving into a building like that?
Not when you're like right there and then just go.
Yeah, I
They
know,
don't drive through.
right, like our town hall. All right,
Or how about her Stevens house?
yeah, or, right,
That's a fire rate of speed when being stopped and then all of a sudden just.
yeah. That's why you'll see more and more, in my company, everyone, even our older stores, we're placing bollards in front of concrete bollards, because we do not offer a drive-through service. Okay, treasurer's report.
The bank statements are there.
Right here.
We've had a few people pay off their 2021 liens. I didn't look to see how many have left, but they have until March 16th before they foreclose.
Are there many left, do you know?
I think probably 3 people paid out of 11.
Okay,
So far.
and they have till, what'd you say, March 15th?
16.
60. It's too funny, the state are people that aren't cashing their checks. She has the state Bureau of Motor Vehicles on outstanding list. And there's so many, my company deals with outstanding checks that they mail out, and I'm just amazed that people aren't depositing these checks quicker.
Yeah, we've got a couple that have been languishing for years, too.
Is there anything you would like to share with us regarding the treasurer's report?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's been pretty quiet.
I would like to make a note of what we discussed earlier today, which is a fully disabled veteran came in, had paid his excise tax online, came in, and a fully disabled veteran does not have to pay excise tax. So to advocate for that, if you know of any fully disabled veterans, they actually get a break on it, but they won't know, and we won't know unless they tell us
Well, they have to have that letter from the state of Maine stating that.
that they're a fully
And it
disabled
does say
veteran.
on there something about it.
It's a little overwhelming, I'm sure. I do veteran advocacy. I've got 6 clients, and some of them have got partial disability. So, but I'm gonna look into that, but full disabled, I think that's a great
It
honor.
used to be just one vehicle, now it's all your vehicles, if you have 5.
Wow.
Yeah, so we rebated their excise tax.
Bring a truck, that's over $1,000 a
So
year.
we can't keep our homeless veterans off the streets, mind you, but we can offer excise tax breaks.
It's a start.
It's
It deserves so much more.
Yes.
Yeah.
We deserve way more than we give them.
Leanne, can you tell me how we're doing on our Northeast Bank fund balance?
Great.
We're doing great, aren't we?
Yeah. And that interest is helping a lot, $7,900 in January.
Wow.
$7,900. What we, just ballpark it, can you tell me what we normally would have got it with our previous group?
You're 400.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The interest rate is good, you didn't.
It's about 5, I think it's 4.99.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
that's good.
Well, they're going up.
I apologize for taking time to look at this now. I was in the office earlier, but I didn't review this, so,
So,
yeah, no, all good.
What towns do this not keep?
Norway, South Paris,
Auburn.
and Auburn. Oh, yeah, their operation centers in Auburn now.
Oh, really?
You're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're not,
Except
they're
in
not north.
Buckfield, they used to have a,
Some-
we used to have a branch in Buckfield and they closed it.
Somebody's in that building. Did you see that? I don't know, but somebody's doing something. Oh,
Apartments.
well, we certainly could use some housing. Should I sign it now? I signed that one.
You should initial it. Initial and date.
Apartments, $1,500.
I don't know how they can afford that. You're gonna have like a whole family in there, each earning money to pay for that.
They have an entire Cambodian village in there. You know, I mean, really.
Veterans get shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the whole world's upside down.
Somebody's Lenny's hand.
Hey, Lenny, would you like to go?
Hi, while you're talking about housing, I should have said about the planning board that we are addressing LD 2003, which is about additional units. And Peggy and I have identified all of the growth areas that were mentioned in the comprehensive plan. So we're getting things ready because we have a deadline coming up to identify those growth areas and who's affected. And that's one of our projects right now.
Thanks for helping Peggy with that.
Yeah, I was a little afraid of it, but it wasn't hard once she tutored me.
All righty.
It's good that we've got folks on the planning board now that are willing to do the.
Yeah,
real
Peggy had
process.
dug in, and I'm so glad you were able to make that last meeting and get digging in too, Lenny. You're really good at that. Really good at going through that paperwork, because it's, ooh. Cemetery committee report. Ken, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Nothing new.
Are the cemeteries still covered with snow?
Some areas have some bare ground.
The bare ground.
I'm not going up into the lounge. Thank you.
All right, I did talk with Barney earlier this week, Solid Waste Committee report, she doesn't have one, and they canceled their meetings, they do not have enough people, so. Moving forward to calendar reminders, the town office will be closed this coming Monday for President's Day. Career Center will be open, here, actually using this building. On February 28th, I actually had a veteran that I do advocacy for come. A couple months ago when they came, they'll rewrite and suggest resumes. They'll help you to learn how to use job links and match you up with the Career Center. It's a bunch of really cool stuff. So this woman's doing community outreach here and is coming right to our town. So if you know anyone that could use some assistance or is looking or has a resume that's 20 pages, it needs to be down to 2 pages. She's doing a great job. So I'm hoping people will take advantage of her being in our community hall.
Now, are they exempt from, insurance requirements?
I think,
The lady that comes, she works for the state of Maine,
Yeah.
exempt from insurance.
from renting the hall,
Oh, no, she was in the office last time. It's just one person.
Oh,
but the day that she came, that she was here, it was the day that we were still over here. So before we moved back to the other building, the day she helped my friend, so. All righty. And next, nomination papers will be available for selectmen and RSU 10 directors on March 2nd. And I want to remind everyone that we can't make changes and move forward or do great work for our community unless we all take part and volunteer or be a part of what's going on.
For what it's worth, I spoke to Chad Collison and he is willing to, I don't know, that, of course, papers aren't available yet, but, he is willing to stay on the school board.
Wonderful.
Chad Culleton, our current school board director, is willing to continue with that post.
Would he actually put some minutes in or report so we know what's going on?
I guess you'd have to ask him that.
Because if we have a rep that isn't willing to ever do anything, it's
You can't-
kind of,
well, showing up at every single school board meeting and participating in committees is not doing anything.
no, but if we're not aware of it, of what's going on at school board, and every single meeting I go, school board report, we got nothing. Thank goodness we had Richard, who used to give us something, but to me, if he's willing to do it, which is awesome, couldn't he send 3 sentences off to Leanne so we'd have some sort of report? But we can
Well-
contact him and ask him to do that.
Sure. I mean, don't turn to me and ask me because I'm not. the person
I'm
to
just-
ask.
I'm just saying out loud, it's great to have a rep and it would great to have him continue. But if we're gonna have a rep, we need to understand what's going on in those meetings.
I didn't see my budget vote. Last year, but
Mhm.
I don't think he went to the budget vote last year.
Okay, thank you, Lenny. Next is planning board meeting, and I think Lenny just gave us some update. Do we have any other update from planning board?
This is just calendar.
Okay, calendar reminder, yep. Presidential primary will be March 5th, here from 8 to 8. The ordinance committee meeting will be March 6th, at 7 PM right here. And let's move on to the unfinished business, winter sand bid opening. She hands me a knife.
I didn't dare to give you a shot. Please make note whether they're sealed or have been opened before you receive them.
This one is sealed. It's sealed.
Okay.
This one will
I
see
don't
it.
wanna be accused of anything.
So when you say sealed, this is our envelope.
No,
No.
So they just dropped it off with no
Just
name or
drop-
no title or anything on the
They can't
envelope?
drop it off with a name on it. These are sealed bids.
Yes,
They
I
have to be dropped off just like this, winter sand bid. The first person to look at them and know who the bid was from is us, looking at these right
Oh, I
now.
totally understand that. I just thought they'd have a business envelope that had,
No, you can't do that. Has to be blank.
there we go.
Oh. No, this one doesn't have a per yard price. It has a single number. So at $90,000, it's worth 5,000 yards, and that's the figure we're going to, it says up to, but 5,000 yards would be $90,000. So this is for, assuming we get the full 5,000, this is for $18 per yard.
And this one is for 1950 a yard. We're currently paying 12. Which is $10 a yard for sand, $1.50 a yard for stacking and mixing, and $8 a yard for trucking, which gives us 1950.
Here, Lee said hers.
This one was $90,000. And then I had to do the math, and while our, it's a little rubbery because what we have here is the bidder hereby offers to provide up to $5,000 per yard. So I used that $5,000 figure and divided in that $18 per yard. So I don't know if you'd like to take a closer look at this
Yeah.
one, we can trade,
Absolutely.
I
Thank
can
you
do
so
that.
much. Yep.
but let's keep the envelope with the particular one, we have a.
Mhm.
They're going to tell us who the bidders are.
So this is. Oh, thank you.
Sure.
So let me ask you this, the person that we're getting the sand from now, from $12 a yard,
Yep.
that person didn't have to submit a new bid, or is?
This person did not have to submit a new bid.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, their contract was, well, the way we have it is that the contract was for 3 years. And that they had the option of extending that contract for an additional 2 years. However, this person decided that they would prefer to, not renegotiate that contract or go out, for an additional 2 years at that price, but he wanted to go out to bid again. And that would have been, who we did is, Alfred Lucas, W.A. Lucas Enterprises LLC of Hebron, Maine. So
Was he the 1950 or?
yes, he is the 1950. And the other one is Castongway from Fayette, Maine. And that is at $18, presuming, of course, that we get the full to $5,000.
5,000 yards.
Which presumably we would if we were paying a lump sum. But you know, I'm more accustomed to seeing the bid come in the per yard. You know, and in particular, in our current situation, that seems especially important, because right now we're contracted with Lucas for a full 5,000, and we have, oh, I think, you know, we've only gone through about half our sand this year. I mean, it's just only about halfway through the season, but we haven't been going through it very fast because we haven't had much real weather. And according to the road commissioner, if we hold him to his current contract, which frankly we'd be foolish not to,
Right.
he will still bring us 2,500 more yards at $12 a yard. And like I said, we'd be foolish not to hold him to that and get that thing, which is to say that we will have a full
Full
sand and salt shed is going to be chock-a-block full, and we're not going to need, I mean, our contracts are written that, we need to get these, you know, the first part of our sand in October, but the fact of the matter is, if we get that other 2,500 yards, we're just about fitted in there, and we're not gonna need to have all that sand stacked up in October, which gives us a little bit of
lead time,
a
doesn't it?
little bit of slack. Well, it does. The other thing that Bim said to me, and we talked extensively on this, is that for budget purposes, because it was one of the reasons we wanted to go out to bid for this sooner than later, so that we have numbers for our budget. And he said one of the things about it is he thinks we should keep our budget the same this year because of that, because we're not gonna need to put up that large amount of sand. In any case, you know, it's a little bit, I find it a little bit confusing to say, okay, so $90,000, but how does he want to check for $90,000 and we'll take the sand when we get it? Or I mean, it's a little hard to know how to parse that.
Right.
For
Well,
me,
these prices are enormous amount more than what we have had budgeted.
oh yeah,
And considering we haven't used as much, in the past, we've ordered more sand than salt. And I know the road commissioner the other day said, maybe since we have a glut of sand, we haven't had to use it, maybe in the next year's budget, we can buy more salt and less sand. But by the time this year ends, we still have sand in the salt shed right now, sand, salt. If we fill it up
We do that
before the
every
end of
year.
the contract,
Like every June.
yep, it's gonna be completely full. We won't need to be adding any in October. We're not gonna be using any sand in July, August, September, to say the least, or October. So there's not gonna be any place to put it. So we're kind of ahead of the game for the first time in a long time for sand and salt. I mean, what are,
We do that every year. We take what's left in the budget and fill it with sand.
so what are our options, Lee? Only because I've never, the
Well,
only thing I've done is a lawn care contract.
One of the things I'd like to suggest, to be honest with you, is we are short board tonight, and Kathy wasn't even able to zoom in with us. You know, I guess I would like to see us, if not table this, then reject the current bids until we had a chance to look into this further. This is according to my conversations with the road commissioner.
Are we able to reject the bids
And
and
we can reject any and all bids anytime we want to.
this is a huge, huge increase. I would like to be able to look at what we
You
really
know,
need.
I'll be honest with you, I mean, I think that's frankly, I think that's the only sensible thing we can do at this time.
And if
Because,
Kathy's saying it too, she's been a road
the road
commissioner.
commissioner's got some other ideas of how we can manage this. And I guess I feel like, you know, take it under advisement, then, if that means rejecting the current bids and having to go out to bid again, or whatever we need to do, I don't feel like we should make this decision tonight.
I,
That's really a jump.
Everything else is jumping, so, it's perfectly reasonable that anyone who is contracting with us has to go up in their prices.
Yeah.
That's perfectly reasonable. That's a largish percent.
That's what concerns me about the trash too. Going up there.
Just wait. We'll see what happens with that. It's gonna go up one way.
but he asked not to go into his 2-year opt, a sand and gravel guy, and have us put it back out to bid. So,
Yeah.
because he nulled his first contract, as did trash.
When's
So,
this contract expire?
June 30th. I'd like to make a motion that we decline these bids and that we wait and work with our third select board person and work with the road commission to find out what we really need and see what we can do about a better pricing venue for our town.
Second.
All in favor?
I have to come back. Is it
Yes.
already-
Sorry for the disappointment. I know that was a moment we've all been waiting for, but. I'm gonna pass this. I think she wants to have this.
Oh, yeah. Here's this one too. And your knife, your letter opener. All right, 2, bulky collection, June 20th, 2024, the guidelines. We talked about this at the last meeting.
I made the changes that were requested at the last meeting.
Okay, awesome.
No untreated or unpainted wood is to be collected. 2 truckloads, pickup truckloads is the limit for all curbside pickup. Oh, you have it?
No, I do, I'm in the wrong pile. The piles are,
Untreated and faded wood, that includes pallets. No,
If
untreated and painted wood, that would include pallets.
they're pressure treated.
I don't think they are.
Treated anymore. As a matter of fact, there was
Mostly hardwood.
there was something that went around, well, not all hardwood, but there was something that went around recently about, how some of them are treated, but evidently the treated pallets aren't happening anymore, that they're all heat treated. So you might have some fancy pallets that would be treated, but.
I can't say break them down. You should have to break down the pallets if you want to throw them on. Takes up less space.
Ken?
If I could, I'd like to make some suggestions for the guidelines.
Okay,
On the first page, there's 2 pages.
Front and back.
Page and column says 2024 recycling. Leanne already changed Wilson to Auburn on the main waste management, I believe. On the first page, we put it from Auburn for residents in burden bulky items. Use the I to the next over the main waste management in Auburn. I'd like to consider adding under, in the middle, under curbside pickup of household bulky waste from occupied residential properties only. And I would, further down where it says, please separate all items of curb. I'd like to scratch the word out and just add pressure treated.
versus treated, pressure treated.
Pressure treated. And suggestions on the next page. I know that we discussed it some in the last meeting about one or two pickups. I really think one pickup with 8-foot truck bed, because truck beds are various sizes now. So if you went with a larger truck bed, an 8-foot truck bed, even with 2 mattresses and a refrigerator, there'd still be room for more items. And I would think one household would be sufficient to have 1 truckload, 8-foot box rather than 2. In the interest of trying to reduce the 25,000 that we paid last year. And I'd also like to change it on wood products under number 5 to have that be only pressure treated wood that would be cut to a maximum length of 4 foot. I just look at all other wood could be taken care of on your site, residential site, by burning.
Not painted.
Yeah, you can burn painted wood.
Okay, so then,
I didn't think you could burn painted wood or stained wood, because what if it's lead?
All paint is lead in it.
oil? I don't know.
I don't, you know what, I don't know, I can't answer your question.
They stopped making paint with lead in it
Yeah.
sometime before 1970.
Yeah.
So, you know, but if it was an old enough piece of wood, it might have lead in it, but
There's some-
Right, the 1970s, not old though,
A lot of the other communities that Archie gave us examples of
yeah,
don't include that in theirs. So I just look at, we're not allowing demo material. That would be painted wood. So, you know, so that's my suggestion anyway. The only thing that you might want to add, which we talked about, is railroad ties. That would have to be cut to 4 foot. I don't believe many people put railroad ties out anyway.
oh,
But I would
remember last
look at
time I saw
only,
one time.
the only would be pressure treated wood. That you shouldn't burn because of the arsenic, it's a,
for sure, yeah.
so. I would like to change it to only pressure treated wood. And under tires, number 8, skidder tires are not acceptable. I'd like to have that added.
Number 8,
Toxic fumes, so they say not to.
Those skidder tires are not acceptable, but what about large tractor tires?
Well, you have it written as 20-inch. So 16 to
Some
20
people have.
inch. To me, over 20 inch is not a motor vehicle on the road. You're in business with having a commercial truck if you're over 20 inches. Or a skidder tire, so, yeah. You know, to me, skidder tire, other towns have that language in it, and I think it would be wise for us. I can't remember the size tires that were left over by your dumpster. And we had,
There's some truck tires there.
yeah, so those that are larger than 20 inch.
Yeah, probably, I don't know.
But they sell a lot of 20-inch tires now.
Okay.
Oh,
which
yeah.
they take them, we take up to 20-inch, but next,
So we
if you
take
get,
up 20.
Yep. What if we were to add larger size tires and in parentheses, over 20 inches, will not be accepted?
Yes, I think that's a good. Well, you might want to consider going up on.
It says here the fee for tires larger than 20 inches is $12.
Or
So,
larger than 20, yeah, to me, you should have a limit on.
It takes up a lot of room in a Archie's truck, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
well, okay, so if we don't take tires larger than 20 inches, so let's just assume that those are truck tires, not skidder tires. But supposing that those are truck tires, where are those truck tires going to go?
Railroad bed.
Well, you know, that's more or less what I was getting at.
This is for commercial, this is for
Or they'll get
residents,
dropped
right?
off by
Not
my
for
house.
business.
Right, it's for residents.
And pay to have them disposed of.
You can take them to
They
any.
could.
They're not gonna, we already have people not paying the $12 and sticking them roadside. I saw 2 on the way out tonight that, on the way here, I'm like, where did those tires come from? They're sitting here on 219 off the road.
I don't know many people that have. Truck companies that they get from the business, and any business should be taking care of that through whoever they buy the
Well,
tires. That's how
The
they
business,
find out.
the business that dropped the tires off at the Labrador Pond Road dumpster should have taken care of them too, but they were moving out of town, so they didn't have to care.
Right, but this is the time to set guidelines, and I thought that's why I'm making this suggestion. I have other suggestions I'll go through if I may. Under propane tanks, it says punctured. I think you could also add the language punctured or have valves removed, if it serves the same purpose. And it's less risky to remove a valve than it is to puncture a propane
I
tank.
dare say.
Or without valves.
We wouldn't take those.
Or have valves removed from them, they will pick them up,
To be empty.
dispose of them, but we'll be sure not to have propane in them that way.
I remember when I lived in Saco, they had one go through Merck, which was Maine Waste Recovery Center, whatever. And someone put a propane tank, a small one, and it blew the side of the tower out.
Yeah.
Cause somehow it got missed in yeah, that's bad.
I mean, even the ones that are disposable ones for your Coleman camp stove, those things can be really dangerous.
Yes, they
And
do.
they just go right in the trash.
So to me, a safe way rather than puncture a propane tank is take the valve out. It serves the same purpose. Other towns have that language in there,
Mhm.
so I think we might as well have all our language. It's close to the.
So I guess I'd have to I'd like to suggest, Ken, that you would be a great nominee for the solid waste committee.
I was afraid you might think that.
You know, I mean,
People
it doesn't take much, it's not much of a leap.
Well, I'll certainly consider that after open session, and I'll give you my next suggestion. I also want you to consider under, please separate all items into piles, do not mix. I'm likely to add language in there, 1 week prior to scheduled pickup only. That might help with this messy yard or whatever. I noticed people put it out there 50 weeks ahead of time.
So the ordinance committee last year, put through that they're only allowed, I think it's 10 days ahead of bulky waste is what they've recommended. So 10 days ahead or 2 weeks ahead of,
Whatever it be, 10 days, 2 weeks or something, but some
but
language.
ordinance committee already put that through last year. I don't know if it says anything here, but they made that recommendation
So
last
if
year.
we're gonna mail these out and have them with tax bills or whatever, or people taking up the town office for guidelines.
Probably post them on
It should-
Facebook and,
Yeah, on Facebook, it would be nice if language about the minutes, whether it be 10 days or something. So that we can try to minimize the
We
time that these are roadside.
Did
Yeah.
last year, I think we just advertised it.
yeah. Well, the cutting it down to one pickup truck load is gonna really,
Well, hopefully reduce some in the wood as well. That's perishable item that can be taken care of in an organic manner. I think could help reduce some of the costs. Like we've talked about, costs are going up on everything. So how do we try to bring it a little bit closer to where we should be?
Yeah.
I would also like to add at the top right hand side where it says, please rent a dumpster for demo material or new construction projects.
yep,
New construction projects can generate as much waste as, demo. And I think that right there is a big part of the cost, the 25,000 was last year, was on demo material. And a lot of wood. We had people coming in and complaining they weren't picking up wood, they weren't picking up this. Well, make it easy, we only pick up pressure treated.
I know due to truck breakdowns and new employees for our chief last year had, they'd left quite a few things like a toilet and small piles of demo that should have been taken but weren't, so we just want to make sure we're all on the same
Toilets,
page.
sinks, stuff like that, that's a residential product that gets replaced by a homeowner, in my opinion.
Right,
And you can't put it out every week. There should be items that you can't cut out every week,
Yep,
that you would accumulate through the year.
Leanne?
Any-
Hey, Lenny, go ahead.
Yes, to the issue of having things in separate piles. Most people do that, and what happens is people pick it over. So you might want to say, no picking other people's piles.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'm a pile picker. But that is part of what happens is people put things out in piles and then it gets spread around because
Jumbled.
people
Yeah.
go through it. Just
They
making
separate
that.
their- If they will separate their piles, it's gonna be a heck of a lot easier for those of us who pick the piles over.
All right, okay.
Lenny, are you all set? Great suggestion.
Yes, yes, yes. I was just saying that's part of the mess.
It
Ken?
is part of the mess because it makes, especially if it's out there longer than a week or two, there's people that go around and pick. And they don't always put it back where they found it. But that's gonna be hard to police.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Non-acceptable at curbside because of the other suggestions I had here.
Except for curbside, hold on.
It says commercial demo material. I think that we need to add commercial/residential demo material to that.
I'm sorry, I do not know where you are.
Underneath, on the right
Underneath,
side.
materials not accepted at curbside, second. floor.
Okay, yeah, I see it. All right,
if
thank
that's
you.
down
The,
there,
the different fonts on this make it hard to read.
We might add brick, stone. Some towns even have, you know, leaves, yard waste. Residential,
No.
to me, commercial and residential demolition material.
Right, I guess I'd have to say this is all the suggestions, because in fact, leaves and brush should not be part of this.
Right,
No.
but I wish we could say, do not put them out for
But-
curbside pickup.
But
Or,
brush and yard
but I
waste,
wish we had a place we could bring them, because people like me that have 150 by 50-foot lot have no place to put all my leaves and sticks.
Let me know and you can bring them out, find a good spot.
yeah, but say, I'd let you could put your leaves on my lawn, by God.
I got a few old.
Because, well.
I help,
because
we
the
help
thing of
all
it
our
is that-
neighbors with them.
The thing of it is that, well, there you go, so what's the problem? The thing of it is, leaves are,
What do you mean, what's the
they're
problem? We're looking for a
they-
place to
they're-
bring them,
they're
that's the
creating
problem.
More soil for you.
Grass clippings, please.
We have a lot of elderly folks in our area that have retired and only lived there part of the year, and they're struggling, so Rusty and I are over there helping our neighbors with leaves and stuff, 3 or 4 of our neighbors, and we're like trying to figure out where we can bring this stuff, and you can bring them this year, but you can't bring them next year, and the Nasons have decided they don't want anything on
Yeah,
their
but
side.
leaves do not qualify as solid.
Oh, they don't.
No,
Oh,
no.
So,
they're looking for-
it
they're
would be-
looking For,
yeah.
for, like, if you're digging a hole.
Yeah.
For something, they want.
It would be helpful if if Lee and Ken and anyone that'd be willing to take those had a pile with a sign, so we could say, here's a place where you could bring them. Cause I can keep using the same bags and tarp.
This supports,
Trash.
well, that's right, but I've been known when I've had a vehicle that I could manage it, to pick up bags of leaves at the side of the road by somebody's house. You just have to look and see which kind of trees they have, because if it's oak leaves, they're gonna last forever, but if it's maple leaves, they're gold.
Oak leaves work really well in acres. I had these 5 loads that I brought up here, and I have a great vegetable. Well, yours. They use well where that is so. But those
You-
are the suggestions I have to be changed if you want to consider that. I appreciate your time.
Okay. when do we want to make decisions on those suggestions?
Way before June. 20th.
Right, right. So do we want to do that at our
So-
next
so
meeting? Do we want to, when
Commercial,
Kathy's here?
so we want commercial and domestic, no. I lean towards, putting things off until she's around to weigh in.
Yeah, me too.
And don't you suppose we should cross out the word animal and just say carcasses? I mean, we don't want human carcasses in the barn raised either, right?
No, preferably not.
It's just a thought.
No carcasses.
Well, they're not human, I'll say.
Well, just carcasses in general. I think it would be a good idea not to do it.
I think the sooner, when we finish this, the sooner we start educating on Facebook and email, we have a town list that we can send out there and just say, hey, we are limiting your to one truckload this year, one traditional full-size truckload, and please do
So if
not,
you have a little truck, you can like multiply times how many.
right,
One
Is
little
it-
truckload.
Just use common sense, that's all.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
and some will be under, some will be a little over, but
I
at
can
least.
actually fit less, I fit less stuff in the back of the pickup than I can in the back of the.
Well, I gotta tell you, down at the end of, if you go Garden Drive all the way to the other end of the pond, there's a couple of homes there that have so much bulky waste to pick up that it's bigger than their home, and I'm not kidding you.
So you really think that allocated that one?
No, I'm pretty sure it didn't. So that's why I said, if we educate as much as we can,
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Right.
So what's gonna happen when bulky waste pickup happens?
and they only
and-
pick
and
up
they
a
have
truckload,
More out there than they're supposed to have.
Then they're gonna have
You're
to-
gonna leave it?
so that's why we're gonna start educating them now.
Oh, good. I didn't know.
Leanne?
But that was the problem last year. We weren't perfectly clear. We said not a lot of commercial. Now we're saying a truckload. It's not,
Well, my understanding is it's one of the not on the lower.
I would never thought that they would pick up a whole truckload at people's houses. I've never put up.
You gotta give them some kind of
That's a
size.
lot, a whole
I know, but it's still
truckload.
not, it's still not precise. You could still say, oh, that's more than a truckload. I'm not picking it up.
So, okay, so let's be more precise. How can we be more
You
precise?
wanna measure
8 by 4?
yards?
I don't know, but I can see him not picking up stuff because he didn't last
Well,
year.
you gotta take pictures when he gets there, if it's over one, when he.
Well, we don't even know who he is.
Yes, we
Right.
do. It's in June.
If it's in June.
It'll be the knowledge of what-
At least this year we know it'll be
This year,
a.
you know.
Yeah.
You know,
You
you
could
could
do-
review what other towns have done for the signs, and they go by truck.
Okay.
You know, we'll have a wheelbarrow.
But if we put truck, do we put
8 foot.
8-foot truck bed? I mean, some's gonna be a little over, I hope, and some's gonna be a little under, I hope, not,
Then you.
not a dump truck.
You know, spray in the area, how you can stack the truck. You know, you put a lot in 8 foot bed, you can stack it. Believe me.
No doubt.
Is that helpful? The other,
We'll
one-
see.
but if we start educating people and giving them other places they can bring their stuff, like their leaves and Auburn Recycling Center, whatever.
So other towns limit you to one refrigerator, one air conditioner. And well, that's another option you could consider. Number of tires, they limit you to 3 tires, 4 tires.
We do too.
You know, you do.
What do we do for tires? Where's
Eight.
that?
8.
8, wow. No tires, Mr. Goulet. I think we paid for 6 last year. Leanne,
Otherwise you have to pay for them, is that how it works?
paid for all of them.
Pay for all.
There's no limit. I mean, there's no, you have to pay for all of them.
There's no minimum, you have to pay for all. of them.
Leanne,
I don't agree with the, you can't leave stuff out if you don't have a house there. Cause my kid has a a couple vehicles. And he always has tires or something.
So you're saying an unoccupied piece of property
That's what
that they're
Ken
paying,
said.
right, we're gonna talk about this with Kathy when she gets back. We're not just accepting everything,
Okay.
but there are seasonal cottages that no one
Yeah.
lives at most of the year. And they're
And
gonna
they
show
still have
up
to throw in a mattress from time to time.
and they, especially when the mice are in it,
Mm.
that's, but
What is your?
when you say unoccupied, do you mean just, do you
People
mean
dump stuff on the empty.
farmland or do you mean,
Residents, whether they're seasonal or full-time. What kind of household items will you generate off from just land? If you're not living in it?
A shed, a garage. My ex-husband has a garage. He doesn't live there.
so what if we said without a building on it?
It could be worded in that way, so you could. Yeah,
People cleaning their garages,
No,
it
I think
says.
you pay property taxes, you should have the right, period.
Right, but if someone owns 250 acres,
Yeah.
does that
And
mean,
then suddenly there's mattresses out there?
and then they have like a whole stream every 3 acres of big piles?
they bring your truckload over to my land, it's okay, I'm allowed a truck.
Well, and the other thing is, we don't expect household refuse of the bulky sort or any other sort from somebody's raw land, somebody's woodlot or whatever.
Right,
I mean,
that's, I think that's what Ken's trying to say.
It should be for items that you can't get rid of on a weekly basis. What items would you put out there?
I don't think I put anything out last year.
I don't think we did either, I don't think. we
That
did
you couldn't
anything
put
else.
out on a weekly basis? Off from Lincoln, a shed.
Yeah.
You could put a lawnmower out, air conditioner, refrigerator.
Which we had to pay for, because we did.
Mhm.
We had a refrigerator, tires, 2 mattresses, yeah.
You pay taxes in town, maybe something you want to consider. If you have a building
Yeah,
on the property.
this will be good information when we work with Kathy to sort it all out. Yes, Leanne. Hey, Lenny, go ahead.
Don't we have a solid waste committee so that we don't spend select board meeting time hashing all this?
Yes and no. We
Unfortunately,
had a solid waste committee until, people didn't bother to show up and or resigned and or, whatever. There's not enough people to have a quorum. So no, not real. Technically we do, but in reality, no.
we had new
Not at this time.
we had new members, but after the other members resigned, unfortunately, they're not coming to the meetings, so.
They never took their.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Good one, though. Thank you, Lenny.
And get forums, I was done with that, wasting my time.
But we still have to do this. That's why-
But we still have to do this, because we wanna save our taxpayers and thank you, Ken. That's a lot of work on that. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna table this because we're gonna review it with our third select board member who is taking a wonderful vacation time away from everything.
We'll have to assume so, yeah.
And, okay. Next on the agenda is the selectmen budget surveys. Mine is done. I just need to scan it over to you, Leanne. We're still waiting on Kathy's because she's
Yep.
gone. Have you had a chance to do yours yet, Lee? Your budget survey from last packet? When you get a chance to get to Leanne?
I will.
I'll have it on the next agenda, all the combined answers.
Awesome. Thank you. For trying to keep us in line.
And we need a moderator, don't forget.
Okay,
Okay, I got it. What do
okay.
you want to change it to?
All right, open session. Is there anything for open session? Ken, all right. Oh, did you want to move seats? Rusty's right behind you. We'd love to have you sit next to him.
The Lee's point, you know, like, and Lenny's point. We have a solid waste committee that isn't fully
Staffed.
staffed, so we can't.
Dysfunctional is the word for it.
So I was wondering if any consideration has been made on the dedication of the town report this year. I was gonna make a suggestion to that during this open session.
That's what the survey is about, some of it.
Okay,
That I'm
then let me
waiting.
give you my opinion on what you could consider on the town report. It doesn't necessarily have to be a picture of people, but I think you ought to recognize all the volunteers that are on committees in this town as a cover sheet. And put a picture of the town hall, town office, whatever, and just list the people that volunteered and spent time on committees
In the past year.
in the past year. And dedicate the town report to volunteers on committees. That's all I have. Thank you.
So anyone else that has anything for open session? All right, let's move forward to new business. And can we take a really quick break? Because I need to use slow girls room.
It's for boys too.
I'm gonna use the little unisex room. Any sex room.
Yeah, she was trying to see me, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I tell them I'm meeting someone.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, how many people are on the solid waste committee right now?
3, I think.
And Jared on,
Yes.
There might be. I didn't bring my list, I don't have my phone.
five, you know, the motion.
I think there's 4, but one never took their oath.
If no, they.
You know, I talked to her a number of times about it. I don't feel like being mad.
That's why they should, you know, if someone wants to serve on a committee, they should come in and fill out one of those papers. That means they're actually interested, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You know, a lot of those people show up for it, whereas going to some of the other meetings, they can't get one.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. Let's move on to new business, the new position for swim instructors.
So I put together a job description. I don't know if you're okay with it. And I don't know if you want to hire someone now or wait till after budget meeting to make sure the money's
Well, you know,
budgeted for. But I did have a couple of applications filled out just in case.
Really, applications, who filled those out?
Ended meeting for a month.
And the third one?
Yeah. I was going to fill it out. I thought she, you want them to-
If she wants to get paid.
She's-
Well-
And
So looking for
they have
proofreading?
11
Pardon me?
shall be mature and adult. How about, I would want to be a
The,
mature scratch A.
Okay, a couple of things already. The instructor in charge of the swimming program or instructors in charge of the swimming program include those listed below shall be mature or a mature adult. Do we really know what mature is?
I would say so.
Because some of us are not very mature. I'm freaking you out.
You
too.
do. Start about 16, 15. The US allowed is it? 18, I believe it is. So if I was you, I would say 18. and
I'm
above.
thinking it's gonna be 18. We are not gonna put a 15-year-old in charge.
So perhaps it should say at least 18 years of age.
I do think so too.
Well, if you look at the insurance
Yeah,
email from Marcus, he suggests 21.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about person in charge, like, that would be like us, and then like, we as like, our substitute, but then if we were, say, Leo was like, I can't do it this summer or whatever, and we hired another substitute, would that person need to be over 21, or just us need to be over 21?
The instructor in charge.
Right, so that would be, that would be us.
So at least 21 years of age.
21, yeah.
Don't they have to have any
Nope.
training?
Oh, yeah, they're gonna be
That's-
certified.
That's section
Yeah.
2. That's section 2. Lifeguard training from a National Red Cross, NRCB.
We're assuming that's like a national.
You know, it does strike me that if we're making up a job description that repeatedly uses an abbreviation, that may be somewhere in the document, what that means should
Right.
be clear.
National Red Cross, what?
That is not national Red Cross. When we read it, we were like, what is this? That's the lawyer, insurance, we don't know what that is. I tried to Google it.
What is the NRCB?
We're thinking it's.
Here's what I found.
So,
Nuclear Regulatory
Yeah.
Commission? No.
Wow, nice. I'm pretty sure they're doing the Red Cross training.
the national certification board of some sort, but there's Red Cross, there's YMCA, there's YWCA. There's another certification board that works mostly out of Florida.
Could we not put lifeguard certification course? And it would cover all of them?
Or lifeguard and water safety instructor, because water safety instructor is the swim lesson section of it. So you want somebody certified to teach swim lessons. And then the lifeguard. And then lifeguard is separate certification, that is the first aid, CPR, and like water safety, life-saving water safety. Yes, there are two separate processes. Have YMYW certified swim instructors, so.
All right, so we're not going by Marcus's suggestion.
We don't even know what NRCB stands for.
Well, I'll have to research it or ask him.
Well, we
Yeah,
just
I
found out
just
it's
said
the
you came up with the wrong
nuclear,
answer.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
I mean, and it may very well be. National certificates, like radiation board or something like
Yep.
that. But like the Red Cross certification, it's all that. I can see. Those are national. National.
So anyway, before you hire someone,
Yep,
do you want to wait till we talk about the budget at budget meetings, or do you want to jump right in without, but she's requesting a lot of money for it.
Lifeguard training from a national recognized board, NRCB, or swim instructor.
The National Recognized Certification Board, that's probably what it is. Red Cross.
Apparently so, but you know, I mean. We're talking seriously about this, it seems like they ought to know what we're
have
talking
you got something I
about.
don't have? Did somebody request money for lifeguarding yet?
You don't have the letter from Danny? Should be in your passing.
I know, but I didn't see it in here. And there's my packet. Oh, it's not there.
Do you have it, Lee? Maybe I didn't give it to you,
No, I don't have it.
because we got it on the 12th.
Yeah, I don't have it with me. No, I have it
don't
in
think
my,
it was in the
this
packets.
packet. Not in this packet, but it wasn't in this packet. Yeah, mhm. Absolutely, really part of the dwelling. Is that something you're gonna be able to get back and forth? Up? Yeah, yes, okay, but looks, but she's nodding, it makes it look like a yes.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. We just figured that last year I had 2 bags, and then if we have a sort of rain, you know, the little.
I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
So under these specifications, we will be covered under our umbrella insurance for our swimming program.
Did I give you Marcus's email?
I got, isn't that what this is right here?
Yep.
I don't see any price.
Anyway.
Is there additional price? Or is it
Oh, I
covered
don't know.
under our program?
It may go up a little bit next year, I'm not sure. But, you know, workman's comp will go up and
Right, it will because we're gonna have new employees, yep. I didn't know if we needed additional umbrella insurance. It doesn't sound like we do. If we follow their guidelines.
our rates may go up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but at least we'll be covered. I mean, we're lucky. Knock on wood, nothing's happened
Right.
in the past.
Would the town consider allowing us to be a donation station at swim lesson registration to help provide funds
Yeah.
additional to towns? Donations directly to swim training through the swim program. Yeah, once you get into a municipal accounting, everything is much more complicated.
And that's not, we're just thinking like, we have parents that would offer in our school, and I had parents last year passed, and so our thought process was. We get money from the school, and drag it goes directly. to the
Yeah.
town. So. If there were parents that wanted to contribute to that, could we ask for that, or should we go refer them back to the school and say, we could do that for your school, but because we realize the costs that are being incurred, so we're like, we know there are.
That's what all the money from lessons in last year in the town. posted.
So for all swimming
Where's the
activities.
total cost? This is just what came in.
Well, I,
It wasn't in the town books last year, so I don't know.
We don't know.
So I can't help wondering, in this job description, for all swimming activities, the town shall provide at least one lifeguard for every 20 persons in the water. All swimming activities, do we want to say for all activities? All aquatic program activities?
It's gonna have to
Or
be.
aquatic program swimming activities, because, I mean, that sort of.
say swim lessons.
Well, I know, but I'm just.
That's from the
I'm talking
municipal
about the
association.
words. I'm talking about the words here. The swimming instructor job description, it says, for all swimming activities, the town shall provide at least one lifeguard for every 20 persons in the water. And don't they qualify as the lifeguards? You know, I mean, that's the thing,
Isn't it not much?
and I guess if this is
It's
just.
saying
a-
one person has to be there for every 20 kids.
In the water. So like, if one lesson is done and they go into the next lesson, these kids are not gonna be covered and not gonna be watched, the ones who just finished their lesson.
Except of course, that one of the other requirements is that the mothers,
Right, yeah.
parent will be
But
there.
we have a town beach where people are there after their lesson and wanna swim. We're not gonna be watching, it's gonna be somebody else, gonna be their family, not our swimming instructors.
So it's a question like other kids at the beach versus kids enrolled.
Well, I was just
Right.
looking for a little bit more clarification in this line.
So I think our understanding is that, and this is how it was last year, is we're responsible for the children that are registered for swim lessons that are working with us. That's children that are on our side of the buoy. The children that are free swimming on the other side of the buoy, that's just the beach. That's
The
not-
buoys are gonna be the whole night.
Yeah,
No.
and there's buoys this.
Ramsey brought and have other buoys, we do not have. those.
We're buying new buoys, it's gonna be the whole length of the beach.
Yes, but those, it was the whole length of the beach as a square or a rectangle. But then when we were doing swim instruction, we had like, thing in the middle to separate public beach.
A designated area.
Yeah.
So when they were on our side, where we were instructing swim lessons, then that's where they're saying they're responsible. If they're on the right side, where it was the public beach side, their parents or whoever brought them was responsible.
So you just wanna take out activities and put lessons?
No.
I think that's a good idea. Lee, what do you think?
Yeah. Or, yeah, something like that, you know, I mean,
Exactly.
Town sponsored,
And we're.
Let's put swim lessons.
Yeah.
Don't drop them off at six.
yeah, lessons is a simple word change.
I
Rather
mean-
than adding a bunch of words like aquatic program, et cetera,
Yeah.
but I just wanna, you know, this is not beach rules, but it's like, I don't want people to, start saying, hey, how come there's not a lifeguard here? You
right,
know, the whole rest of the.
always swim at their own risk.
Boy, else,
I don't know if that would be kind of aquatic activities rather than registered.
We've just changed the wording for that very reason. No. Well, it's hard and, you know, the generational change. My mother brought us 7 kids to swim lessons, which were all at different times. And my mother watched the kids that weren't in the current swim lesson. And then when those kids were done, the other kids went here and mom watched them. But so many families don't have a stay-at-home parent. And so they want to get the kids enrolled, but yet they want to drop them off and no one's gonna be watching them. They need to understand no one is going to be there unless they're only while they're in their lesson.
have you had parents that just drop children off?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I
Some
wasn't
always
clear
do.
that, I was pretty sure that that wasn't happening, because this is not like, you know, it's not like you can
'Cause
pull up
But I
and
will
drop
say
it.
something.
But you guys had asked that we put in there that the parents stay. So I was just assuming that some of the parents weren't staying.
I think we just want it written down so that families understand.
Clarity.
The expectation.
Yeah.
I think most families were meeting that expectation already, but it wasn't written down for us to be like, no, it was in this registration form that you filled out that said you'll stay.
Okay,
Well, and I created it for liability purposes for us and for you guys.
Yeah.
Because it was unclear last year when we said, yes, we'll do it. Right, it was like, what about insurances? What about the town? What if
Johnny has his foot open on a piece of glass under the water, who is it? Who's covered here, so, and I can have names.
So that is not what these families coming in, we're not experienced with how it usually is run.
Yeah.
And having that right in there makes it clear.
Just straight clear to the point.
Awesome.
Teachers.
You have to.
Yes.
Right, right. It's when you guys asked for it to be there. Yep,
Do you wanna table this till the next meeting, or do you wanna?
we have time. Let's table it, get Kathy's input,
But, you know.
make the changes we want. What do you think, Lee?
Sure.
If you want to hash it out tonight, we
No,
can.
no, I'm all about tabling it.
If you see anything else, just let me know
Me too.
before the next.
If you want the budget thing back. Just for those who might be interested, last year's swim lessons, because the bookkeeping was kept outside of the town stuff, we don't really know how much it all costs. But last year, between people paying for swim lessons and town of Sumner, Canton, and Buckfield paying an additional dollars, the total brought in was $1,815. But we don't know what the total cost was. So Sumner paid $290, Canton paid $525, and town of Buckfield paid $285.
They paid for,
We don't know how they paid.
No, that's one lump.
Didn't matter how many students, how many children.
I don't know.
My understanding was, there's a Canton, Buckfield, Hartford, just do whatever their allotment is according to school or town. And then Canton pays for every child, is what I was told.
price for the time.
And then they did a donation and then paid for it.
So it's
Such a valuable life skill. I just, so pleased we can offer.
Sunday, so we did talk to our superintendent, maybe if they're open to allowing them to join us. They have money to donate. They're gonna donate to them for a good school.
Great. I think the better feeder source we have of these young kids learning how to swim is of schools and systems that are close by. I think that's a great idea. Leanne?
I just wanna make sure the dates do not work for registration, because town meeting's on June 15th.
Oh, I just
But-
put it, I,
okay,
we just
all
get
right.
random dates for like, we'll pick random dates and then we can adjust them if needed. Are there dates that?
If they want to send money to our town, we will accept it. How about
Are there
that?
dates that are, are there dates for registration?
You guys talked at the same time, I don't know.
The question is, are there dates that are better for registration for you, for those Saturdays?
There's some Saturdays of the better, yes.
What Saturdays would work?
You're not even hired yet, so.
I would like to be able to put something on paper.
Town meeting is the 15th, that's the only one in June so far that's free.
That,
The hall.
that day wouldn't work or that you would.
We're having town meeting in this building on the 15th of June.
Okay, so that would work.
Safe bet.
What dates did you use in previous years, girlfriends?
No, it did. We did it last year and it was all done in one day. Yeah, and it all came through here.
Yep, do you remember what day that was?
It
What
was a
what
Saturday.
month?
It was a weekend day.
No, last year. Last year, they did not all go to the
No, they
the
didn't.
town office.
No, it
No,
just,
they did, everyone did.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just wondering what date that was. That's all I'm wondering.
24th of June.
Ooh, after town meeting. I'm just thinking we should try to stick with, if it works into the town calendar, stick with something similar so that parents know if they're re-enrolling. Near the 24th would be great.
Anyway, you gotta get through the.
We gotta get this all approved and everything else. And everyone hired.
Yeah.
What's that total number? 18 what?
1815.
Wasn't there funds you indicated a couple of weeks ago that were left over that weren't spent, that it's already been voted on,
Right,
leftover funds?
right,
Could those funds be used at this point
yes,
to buy materials that they're requesting?
yes.
And then when budget comes up, if there's more that's needed than budget.
I need budget requests like right now, but they're in this letter you submitted, I think.
That was nice, and
Yeah.
that's what we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wanted to do. So, table for now, shall we register for courses? With the hopes and understanding that we need to be certified to be out.
I would say that.
I'm gonna say that the town of Hartford Select Board is committed to helping this swim lessons happen this year.
But the money still has to be approved at town meeting, which most likely will.
Well, that's what I'm saying, use the money that's already been.
Yes, and we're gonna,
Put there, courses.
yeah, we met with them 2 weeks ago,
But the lessons are in July.
but the
So we
lessons
need
come out of the next
town
budget.
meeting And town meeting approval for that money. To pay them, you know.
But they can go ahead with it.
Or you can register your course, we can register our courses in that.
Yes, I'm confident you can register for your courses. So you qualify to be hired. All right. Annual audit and out to bid or not. What have we done? So every year we do an annual audit. And what have we done in the past? Do we usually send it out to bid?
It hasn't been out to bid for several years.
It hasn't been out to bid for several years, and I remember, Susan Loomis, town clerk of Sumner for something like 35 years. When, I remember discussing this back when Betty was the town clerk, and she thought we should go in the auditor and get someone she knew. And I asked Susan what she thought about that, and she said, oh dear God, no. Don't change, if you're happy with the auditor, you've got, don't change auditors.
Are you-
They're honest.
Are you
Well,
happy with the
obviously-
auditor we have?
No,
You're not happy.
no. Just
So
because it took 4 months longer. than
it
it's
took
supposed to.
forever this year.
All the regular auditors quit. So it's all new people, and I struggled and struggled and struggled and I wouldn't get answers, and
Yeah,
it
so
was
that's not. going-
horrible.
So it's not going so well. Okay, well, I mean, like I said, as I just said, Susan said, I would take Susan's word for anything regarding these things. If you're happy with the audit you have, dear God, don't change. But on the other hand, if we're not,
Let's put it out to bid.
It's up to you, but. it
Well,
was a-
if our town
real
clerk
struggle.
feels, and we didn't get our audit numbers for months later than we normally get.
And also, I've emailed them several times to come meet with you about a fund balance policy, no response. They've just been horrible.
well, sounds like things are falling apart a little bit for them. It's just kind of too bad.
So I'd like to make a recommendation that we do put the annual audit out to bid because of our dissatisfaction. I'd like to make a motion, we put our audit out to bid. All in favor? Oh, I need a second, sorry.
Yeah, hang on,
We've never had a 3-year contract, but I was looking at other towns and they do, so I don't know if you would want to do that or not.
well, generally speaking, my feeling is when a 3-year contract allows both the contractor and the town to have certain amount of stability. I mean, yes, it's true. Every day can drag on, never mind the whole year, but in fact, years go by really fast. And so, I tend to think that the multi-year contract is a good thing.
So do we recommend a 3-year contract? Is that what they're normally used to doing?
On the other hand, you know, if we are, we're changing to a new auditor, we don't know whether whether or not they're gonna stink or whether they'll be awesome. Maybe we don't want to go in that direction.
Well, we could do a 2-year agreement with an option for a 2-year addition.
I'll just make it simple to 1 year.
1 year?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that, you know, I mean, like I said, generally speaking, I like the multiple year, but that's why we have, you know, I was,
Right,
my
yeah.
idea to have multiple year contracts with our fire departments.
Yeah,
You know, I think it makes sense in terms of stability. On the other hand,
I should,
if we're changing horses here, I think
I mean,
we
we
better.
haven't had a contract with RHR Smith. We just sign a management, agreement letter every year.
Yeah,
But to put it
Well-
out to bid, we just need something.
well, I suggest we, because we are not happy and our town clerk is not happy, we put it out to bid, and if the suggestion by the town clerk is a 1-year agreement to start, so we know if we're gonna be happy. Do we
Yeah, I
want an
don't-
addition, Lou?
pardon me?
If we do a 1-year agreement with the opportunity to extend?
I don't know that we even need to put anything about the opportunity to extend. If we have a 1-year contract and we're happy, then we would keep them,
Okay, like we have
would
in the
just keep 'em.
past.
you know? I
Ken?
mean, as,
How much do you spend on your contracts currently?
Oh, that's another thing. They went up $1,000.
So you need to go out to bid for that.
For bad service.
Everything should go up to bid and get the best offer for the town. For everything.
So you're paying 1,000 now,
No, we pay,
That's more this year
so,
and worse service than any year I've ever,
so how much do we pay?
8,300 this year.
Okay, and they want another 1,000, so at that price.
No, that's-
no, that's
with-
with the
that's-
new, what's with 1,000?
It's 600 feet. Regardless, you're happy or not, should go up a bit. A lot of money.
But like Lee said, when you have a regular auditor working with you,
And it
they're
works.
familiar with how your
there's,
books are
you know,
and
Unless you can quit.
Yes, a lot of things about.
well, you know, as long as things are going well, I don't see the sense of going out to bid on a regular basis. Frankly, I disagree wholeheartedly with that. You know,
because they've been excellent ever since I started until.
oh my
this year.
God, they were great. That's why.
This year
you
was
know,
torture.
why I
Couldn't
said,
get
so,
anything
is
from
it
them.
really that bad? And you're saying, yes, it is, but, you know, they were awesome for a really long time. And I will continue to take the advice of, you know, 35-year town clerk Susan Rumis, who said, oh no, if you're happy with them, don't change.
Didn't they
Stick
just
with
get
it.
in trouble with the fire department over some budget issue?
Susan has been retired for 2
I'm
years,
not saying
and
that.
yes, the town of Sumner has been in
There's a reason.
all kinds of trouble.
Change is good, change is good, I don't know why people always stay
Big
with
competition. How could they?
Yeah, but your auditor's looking at things you did wrong. I mean, they're not your friend.
No, they shouldn't be. That's why they're audited.
Right.
Exactly, exactly. Well,
All right, I make a motion that we put this out to bid for a 1-year contract.
Second,
All in favor? All opposed?
When would you like the bids due?
When do they start the audit process?
June 30th.
Okay, so why don't we make it due April 15th?
You're meeting on the
Get
4th
it?
and
April 15th, tax time.
you're meeting on the 4th and the 18th of April.
Okay, so 18th of April? Yeah.
Works for me, I don't care.
Okay,
And R.H.R. Smith can also put in a bid if they so choose.
Okay,
And how will you advertise this, Leah?
Hartford News, I mean, the
Really?
Sun Journal.
Really?
It's not called Sun Journal anymore. It's the main
You,
trusted news or
Oh,
something.
they changed it?
no, it's.
Well, it's, the paper itself is still Sun Journal. But
Main
it got
trust
bought out
news.
by,
Media Sun. Well,
yeah, something like that.
It was, no, it was main,
I saw
It's in
Main
the-
Trusted Media.
It is in the
Main
minutes.
Trusted Media or something like that. I saw it in
Yeah.
the, I saw it in the morning.
Me too, yeah, it's in the one.
I saw it in the morning.
I'll send-
And
I
we
didn't
put it
think-
on
I didn't
Facebook
think
and we
asking
share
about
it,
But I did think, who the hell is that?
and it goes on our website.
and I do send it out in the mail to the internet auditors out there.
Okay. Cool beans. All right, pole permit, Ricker Hill Road, is this for the
I move
cell?
we approve the
cell
poll
pole?
permit on Ricker Rail Road.
No. CMP.
Oh, CMP?
And this is
It's a pole location,
but it's.
Or
ju-
underground
municipal-
location?
All they can't set the poll until they get our approval. And I move that we make this approval.
and Ricker Hill is the one that goes up by,
Julia.
Yeah,
Right,
but
Julia,
this
thank you.
is good.
That's the one that goes up that way. Is it her pole?
What's it matter? Whose poll?
Oh, it doesn't matter, I'm just curious,
I don't think so.
just a curiosity factor.
I don't think so.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept this proposal to put in, CMP to put in a new pole on Ricker Hill.
It actually is on Howard Road.
So we go up and take a right. Howard Road, CMP, Ricker Hill.
No, you go up to the top of the hill and you take a left.
I would take a left. I'm looking for a second.
Yeah, I made the motion.
I seconded it then. All in favor?
I didn't second it because I made the motion in the first place, so.
Just need to sign that.
Let me sign this one or that one.
That was the one I gave you, that she has.
Yep. This one you gave me.
Okay, yes. this one.
Okay, appointments and resignations. Oh, go ahead.
I suggest that you appoint Ken Violet as ballot clerk.
You can pass this back. Yeah, I talked to Karen Henderson the other day about being alternate board. And she talked to Sophie, it's still empty nesting now. And she talked to Sophie, she might be interested in that. But, yeah, I feel like they have to get back to me.
Right.
She would be needs it. But I think I've got something.
So I would like to make a nomination for Ken Violet to be a ballot clerk. Is that what you're asking?
That's what she said.
Yep. And you accept?
Yeah.
Do we have to all in favor, all that stuff?
Second, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I nominate Ken Violet. And Lee?
Second, yeah, actually, I don't think it's a nomination, I think it's just, I think what you have to say is, I move to appoint Ken Violet as a,
I move to appoint Ken Violet as ballot clerk, and he has accepted.
and, I'll second that.
Second that, great, all in favor? All opposed, great.
So, the important.
Okay, we are,
So I am.
Wrapping this up.
keen to move it on now.
okay, I received a resignation in front of everyone at ordinance committee, as well as a paper on my desk, which I will scan over to you.
Um,
Nancy Sullivan resigning from ordinance committee.
We kinda need-
It needs to be in writing.
Yeah, I got it in writing. I just need to scan it. I left a pile of stuff on my desk today. So, we do have a nomination in here, volunteer option Cindy Violet. And, Steve Ellsman had asked a couple months ago that he was willing to serve also on ordinance. My concern is that ordinance committee already has an employee,
Yeah, I
a
feel. I
road
feel
commissioner
like,
on
you
it,
know,
so I'm, so I would like to nominate Cindy Violet because she volunteered.
But we have to accept that resignation, which we
yes,
need.
I think I'm gonna say, I know this is the meeting of tabling things, but I think we need to table this until we have everything in order.
Okay, well, she did it in front of all of us
Oh,
in
that-
tears
that's-
and
you know
so,
something, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
It still needs to be in writing.
yeah, okay, great.
And I'm sorry she was in tears, but.
Me
you know.
too, me too,
It's a
as the
rough
whole
life.
ordinance committee was pretty upset about it, so.
But she was-
Oh, she had her reasons, I'm not gonna share them here.
I'm
Because-
alternates to most committees, 2 alternate members. But if you don't have one, the alternates get a vote.
Is there any alternates for ordinance?
Mhm.
Oh, who are they?
Oh, no, they're not filled.
Oh, they're not filled.
Yeah, but you can have. option.
Well, then we volunteers.
No, we don't have any volunteers.
Well, so you volunteer, why can't she at least be an opening?
You see,
So she can step up in.
I have the paperwork, Nancy's already signed it, I left a pile on my desk, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking here. And it took me forever to get her to sign it, I even tried to get her to sign tonight, sign another one, but she wasn't home, so.
so she won't get appointed for next meeting.
When is the next meeting for our ordinance?
March 6th.
So can we, reach out to our
So board
alternates,
meeting and the
to
next-
2 people to
the
be
next select
alternates?
Board meeting is,
Is that the 7th?
it appears to be the 7th, yeah.
So could we not appoint
Go to the next meeting.
or talk to the 2
Okay,
folks?
I move
It's
to,
only for 1 year.
I'd like to appoint Cindy Violet as an alternate to the ordinance committee.
I second that.
It gives her a year on the ordinance committee to practice.
No, a few months,
What?
a few months.
Yeah, okay, well. few
All,
months until
all in
it's gonna be-
favor?
But,
Yeah,
but then, usually alternates are the ones who move up.
okay. Is there any training coming up? Is there any correspondence?
Yes, some of this, I just need that top one back.
Nope, not giving it back, sorry.
Excuse me, I have my hand up. I wanted to say something about training. I wanted to thank the select board for approving the planning board, appeals board training for me. It was very informative.
Thank you for going, Lenny.
Yeah, it was really good. Do you want to report?
Sure.
Okay, I took notes so I can type something up.
That would be great, thank you, we appreciate that.
All right.
So we received some things from the Maine Municipal, like who to contact for the 2024 Executive Committee officers, committee members, and the Municipal Association team. We also received a thing from Workers' Comp, fund member, about our audit. our adjusted schedule reflecting the actual payroll amounts. Um. Leanne, is this a big difference? It looks like our audited manual contribution used to be 2778, and the new total audited contribution is 2560, which is less money. $200 less.
It's the other way around, I think, isn't it?
Total audited contribution, audited manual contribution subject to
Oh.
experience rating.
You're talking about the, yeah, we did get a refund for last year, but they're estimating more for next year.
Oh, well, for last year, we got a refund of 200, so that's pretty cool. What a surprise, it might go up.
Actually, it went up significantly. I'm gonna say it was during the pandemic, so probably 3-4 years ago now. It went up significantly because in looking at, town valuations throughout the state, because of our lakeshore properties, our valuation was high enough to kick us into one of the different categories. So we were, our dues at MMA went up commensurate with both the products. Just,
No, thank you.
I mean,
It's just crazy that they compare us to Yarmouth and Falmouth.
well, maybe not Yarmouth and Falmouth, but the fact of the matter is, our lakeshore properties mean we have a high valuation. Their high valuation changes everything, and it's part of, it's part of our county. Our county assessment is high, our school, I mean, we pay, the school funding formula is 25.75, 75 being evaluation, it's part of why our schools are so expensive.
That's your copy right there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Copy for Kathy. That's a Kathy file. Okay, so that is the correspondence. I would like to adjourn this meeting at 9:08. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate your time and effort. You need that back.